Time for a quick question, Gordon.
I'm not a biologist by trade, so it's possible I misunderstood something.
Sure.
Damaged samples, isn't it? When we send to imaging, the imaging before we do barcoding?
Yeah, that's a common question I get, and I think for some setups that might make some sense. With BioDiscover, it's just easier to go from sort of bulk to bulk or many to many, because the vial at the bottom is most suited to collect more than one individual. Whereas with our barcoding setup, naturally at the end we get our specimens grouped individually or separated individually. So then it's easier to track that individual through the pipeline.
They're not badly damaged.
No, the like really soft-bodied specimens, like we found that harvestmen don't do very well with it. But we just either leave those out, or you can just like remove a leg off of the softer bodied specimens, but more sclerotized specimens, at least to my eye, there's no difference. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Jack.
Thank you.
Okay. Welcome, Inbal. Over to you.
Okay, hello, thank you. So I'm going to introduce about the integrating citizen science and artificial intelligence for real-time mosquito surveillance. I'm a postdoc student at the CEAB, Center of Studies in Banes, next to Barcelona. It's part of the CSIC, the Research Center of Spain. Okay. So a bit of background about mosquitoes. We know that there are over 3,600 species of mosquitoes worldwide, and most of them feed on nectar and serve as pollinators. And only females feed on blood and only for egg development. This is an image of, you see the blood there after she bites. And only a small subset of these 3,600 mosquitoes are disease vectors, but as you know, they spread deadliest diseases, yellow fever, malaria, and so on. And also nowadays we have over 1 million cases of dead people from this kind of diseases every year. So it's for sure the deadliest animal on earth. And effective mosquito monitoring and control is essential for preventing outbreaks and protect public health. And as you know, most traditional method nowadays uses traps, which I think the main drawback in this kind of problems is their scalability problems. So they are pretty limited in this sense. And if we look at the mosquito-borne diseases in the era of global change, so here you can see a map of Aedes albopictus, the tiger mosquito. And you can see it's spreading since 2013 in the last century to 2023. So it's Europe, and all of the red areas are areas where he's already established. And I guess you all feel it in your daily life in the summer. And in parallel, you can see that there are dengue cases in some areas of Europe and how much we have more cases in this century. So more mosquitoes, more cases of diseases. So when we want to monitor to control these mosquitoes, we need to know which kind of mosquito to identify it. We need to know where is it and when, because of course the dynamic is changing along the years, along the day, and how many. And in this project, we propose a scalable AI-enhanced citizen science-powered mosquito surveillance system for real-time species classification and early warning. And I'm going to introduce it. So the idea is the three components of scientists, citizens, and administration for the mosquito alert. And we use the smartphone that everybody uses, as you know, that with other project users, eBird and other projects. And this time we create real-time and scalable surveillance of mosquitoes. And at the same time, we're awareness of mosquitoes, of the disease in the public. And this is, I think, one of the most great output of this project. And so what you see here is the map of Spain. And in yellow, you see the traditional surveillance. And then in red, the mosquito alert surveillance. So you can see that in our map, so the mosquito alert was invited to Spain in Barcelona, and you can see the front is slowly moved south. So you can see that the mosquito alert could see places that there were no traditional monitoring there because they were really out, like far in the center of Spain or in the west of Spain, that they just didn't surveil, like they didn't monitor it there. So this is like application can help. And also it's helped to fill up gaps in the front of the spread of the mosquitoes. So 30% of the discoveries from 2014 was thanks to mosquito alert. So this is how it looks like. This is our application. You can download from Google Play or from Apple Store. It's already in 24 languages. And when you get into the application, you can report a mosquito, which of course you don't need to know the identification, you just do an image of the mosquito. And you can also report a bite. And in this report, you don't need to put a picture. It's just like, where did it bite you and where were you? And you can put also an image of breeding sites. And just like the amount of data that we have, so we have annual reports of about 3,000 mosquitoes and 3,000 bites and 4,000 breeding sites a year, approximately. So the outcome from this project is the early warning system for invasive vector species. So whenever we have a mosquito that was first detected in a location, we automatically send early warning to these authorities there. We can detect vector population hotspots, as you saw in the map before of Spain. And we detect dynamic anomalies in mosquito activity, which is really, I think, hard with the traps. So this is example from Barcelona only. And you see like a season, a year, and you can see the activity, and it's from this data. And at the same time, we promote preventive of habitat here in public health management, because once we know how a habitat of mosquito look like, we can next time maybe prevent it in our neighborhood, in our house, and so on. So this project was started and built with a European Digital Entomology Network, which is nowadays, we have around 100 experts, which some of you already met and sit in this room. So thank you. And you see here the map of Europe and all of the countries that are part of this project. Our experts validate the mosquito report and give feedback to participants and help us to translate the app and also to disseminate this project. And it's really essential, of course, also for the AI part, because now we have a lot of data that is already tagged. So how does our pipeline work? And I already seen a few really similar in other projects here. So the person upload image of mosquito to the app. It goes straight to the server. And then the first filter is our artificial intelligent mosquito alert. We call it IMA. And I'm gonna explain in detail next slide. So after it went through the IMA, if the IMA was identified correctly above a certain threshold, it goes straight into our database here. And if it didn't, it goes to our expert validation, which for each image, 3 experts observing it and identify it. And then we have like some of it or an expert from the country that looked at it correctly. And then it's go to the database. Once it was identified, it straight away send immediately feedback to the participant with the identification and who was identified, the AI or the expert. And then it's go to the public map, which is on our portal. You can go there and download the data yourself. Yeah, it's all open. If the identification was of an insect that for the first time exists in a certain area, it immediately and automatically send early warning alert to the expert of this area. He looks at it, maybe goes to the field to see if it's correct, and then it's go to also to the authorities. And for example, after this kind of event happened, so the experts went there. In other cases, we did campaign for the citizens to try to collect more data. So we know it's for sure. So we will learn about the distribution of the mosquitoes there. So now we go into the IMA. So the artificial intelligence mosquito alert that we nowadays have there, it's 2-stage system, as also I saw in other projects. So first is the detection part with YOLO. And yeah, we also have many images of not mosquitoes. People upload faces or just other not relevant images, or of course really blur images. And then we have object classification. This is our nowadays classes that we have. You can see that one of them is also other species and blood, and some species are in the species level, and some other is only in the general level, as Pulex and Anopheles. And then once it got labeled, you have a score class. So each image, each species or family have its own class score. And then if it's above a certain threshold, you can see that it's different for each species, and then it's get the right label. Okay, and if not, if it's below, it's go to the experts. And this is our system performance. If you look down at the table for 2024, and you can see that we classify around 30% of the data automatically. The other went to the expert. And yeah, you can see in the table that for the most abundant species, we have better results, and for the less abundant, lower results. So the ongoing and future directions. So this is the species that we have nowadays, and we want to, of course, try to be able to identify more species. We are working on it. We need more data. And we also, I'm going to do an image quality project, because for now you saw that one of the goals that we have is other species and blood. And we're going to try to see if, yeah, as we already saw a lecture here yesterday in Boreishi, but yeah, I got idea from here. So it's great on how to deal with this low quality image, because this is how we want the images to look like. But the reality is that we get smashed mosquitoes and really small mosquitoes. So for now, everything is going into the classifier. And I want to see if we can do a better way, like dealing with it differently. Another thing I will try to do is to learn more things from these images. So what all of us doing is learning to classify, but maybe we can learn also behavioral feature from these images. And in the case of mosquito biting rates, this is how a mosquito that already bite look like. And we know that mosquito feeding behavior can vary across space and time, depends on the habitat, depends on the host availability. And of course, activity not always correlates with abundance or not straightforward. So, and nowadays, how we learn about the behavior of mosquito is only in labs with, groups and all kind of experiments and temperature and all this. And we're going to try to do it for the first time on a wide scale with our data. So first we need to build a classification that will be able to see these images, not this from the internet, but you see this small blip here. So it means that it's full with blood. And we're going to try to do it automatically, and then to be able to classify and to learn about the activities of mosquito on a wide scale. This is it. Thank you. We are part of my project.
We've got time for questions.
You mentioned that you selected around 4,000 breeding sites. How involved was it at? And how did the citizens record the breeding sites?
So they just need to take a photo of the breeding site, like to see a photo of it, and then they need to report it. And it's not automatically. Yeah, this part is manually by expert. They're looking at it, and then if it's relevant, they go there, and yeah. And also after they report, they get like some notification, like can you maybe like pour the water or kind of this kind of like that will help them to understand how to prevent it later. Yeah, it's with images.